Welcome into this Monday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford studio today, back in high definition, at least for me. The laptop computer had me a little fuzzy for a week. This one looking a little better. I don't know if it's good or bad for you guys, but nonetheless, Neal is believing in monsters. He's a Bears fan again today. As we
it was the top shirt on the stack.
You have a very eclectic set of shirts. I'll give you that. So. We will talk some Lane Kiffin today. He met with the media about an hour and a half ago, something like that. That coverage is up at rebelgrove.com. You can find a notebook there. We spoke to him, spoke to Nick Broker, spoke to Keytron Smith as well. So again, you can find the content. We may touch on some of that. Definitely will with Kiffin as they had their first scrimmage on Saturday. So that's kind of what's on the books for today's show. Some other topics we'll get to as well on a podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. You can get your fuel as safely as possible there. You just download the Speed Pass Plus app. It will take care of you because you pay right there on the app. You don't have to go inside. You don't have to touch any cash. You don't have to do anything like that. Just pay on the app. Use the plastic sleeves that they have there to keep your hands away from the pump directly. And again, get on with your day. Maybe you're driving to Clark Ford. As again, we mentioned we're in the Clark Ford studio.
Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900's that number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. You can do what I've done, and I recommend what you do. You should hop into a Clark Ford, get your quote. You'll love it. Get the vehicle. You'll love it. You'll really love the service after the sale. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy. He'll prove that to you when you make the call. 662-257-1900. Guest, join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters on the Water is open Wednesday through Sunday, and then Rafters on the Square open now as well. Be a great place to go in, watch Major League Baseball, the NBA playoffs, golf, auto racing, whatever. Won't be long before there's some college football, some NFL. We're getting closer and closer to that as well. The NFL starts, September the 10th, I think. So we're getting closer. So Rafters would be a great place to watch that. Drink specials, great menu items, po' boys, burgers, all of that there at Rafters on the Square and Rafters on the Water at the Sardis Marina.
So, I guess we'll start with Ole Miss. Good place to start as any. As we're doing this, again, the notebook up at rebelgrove.com. By the way, if you're in our live stream, I say JG's in the house. You guys doing G-Pits today, so you can you can hang out with NPW Digital for a while today if you feel the need. If you don't get enough of McCready by the end of the show, you can get some more.
Unless I have missed a schedule change, I think we're doing G-Pits around 3 o'clock-ish.
I got to get to Ole Miss in a second. I just noticed this, though. I was actually told this morning. I knew it was week 1. I had no idea what the date is. Mississippi, the college football world, kind of everybody that we need to go well right now, all eyes going to be on Hattiesburg because they are the first college football game of the season. Did you realize that? Southern Miss is the very first game of the season.
I did not know it until I saw a tweet this morning about it.
Yeah, September 3rd, Southern Miss hosting South Alabama. So
that's a Wednesday or Thursday?
Thursday. Yeah, from a Mississippi standpoint, from a college football world standpoint, there are 2 games on the schedule on Thursday, and that is the first one. So talk about needing something to go well for all involved, as we're hearing Mississippi needing this to happen. So
it'll be a big game in the Tate House. Jags play. First time, Maddie Tate at South Alabama. Congratulations to Maddie. She pledged Chi-O yesterday, so that's awesome. Be a big day for the Abraham family here in Oxford. Jack starting what I guess will be one of 2 senior years. He gets a second senior year on top.
If he would like it, he can have it. Yeah.
I don't know how that works, but a former Oxford High School quarterback, now the quarterback at Southern Miss. So, yeah, all eyes on Hattiesburg. And if you're not cheering for both of those teams that night, you got something seriously wrong with you. If you can't figure out that you want both the Golden Eagles and the Jags to have a wonderful night.
Yeah, everything just go well. Everybody play well. Everybody be healthy. Finish 60 minutes of that bad boy and move on to week 2.
Absolutely.
There is no doubt there. But yeah, I don't know. I saw it and I went, oh yeah, well that's something.
25% attendance.
Should be 25% attendance. That again, that executive order still runs out prior to that game.
But he even mentioned he probably just hit the reset button on that
at least once or twice. Now that would be interesting. Can Southern Miss get through several weeks of the season to, at least from a state level, allow Tate to go, hey, maybe, by September 26th, you bump up, you change it, something along those lines. I mean, that's kind of what I mean. I think in a lot of ways that there's a certain test case nature to this for Southern Miss for a few weeks prior to the SEC games that will happen in Mississippi.
Well, here's hoping it goes really well.
Because, look, those Week 0 games can't go poorly. Or Week 1 or whatever the hell we're calling it now.
No, need those to go well, need NFL to go well. But there have been some high school games that have been played.
I haven't heard of any issues.
I mean, so far it appears that.
I mean, now look, the high school stuff from a public school standpoint, or I'm assuming it's only public. If it's private school too, you can let me know in the thread. The whole is only 2 tickets per participants.
Yeah.
I'm not saying either whether that's right or wrong. I'm saying that it, from an economic standpoint, is a budget killer for a lot of small high schools. And frankly, I don't understand, unless they're getting some donations or different things, I don't know how even they afford to play at that level. I don't understand how it makes any economic sense.
Well, and I don't understand the science behind you can have 2 but not 3. Like for us, we want to go see Caroline dance. If Laura and I both go, can Carson not come? If Campbell's back in town, can she not come?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, why not? If not, why not? Right? Because we're going to sit in a cluster. Or, I mean, how does that work? I mean, it's what bothers me about it. I promise I'm not going to go on some rant today, but it's so arbitrary. And frankly, some of it's just really stupid.
No, the way Ole Miss is doing it, I fully applaud. It's cluster the families with a certain number of tickets and then spread out. Cool.
Yeah.
That makes all the sense in the world. So, I don't know. That's what gets me. I mean, I saw some different posts about it. I've seen some Facebook posts about it. You got a lot of places, where not getting kind of the whole family in town and paying the concession and paying for the game program and buying the ticket and the whole deal. I mean, that's how that place stays afloat. And that's what I do wonder is how some of that works out. But
of course,
we'll see. Yeah, but I think I do. I think Tate Reeves does extend it at least once, maybe even twice before making any decisions in either way. So yeah, 25%, 50% in suites because it's technically kind of like a restaurant. It's an enclosed space that serves food. Hey, restaurant.
But see, here's the
restaurant.
And look, I'm for
hot dogs, a sandwich, bread, protein in the middle. Hey, look, don't.
And before anybody thinks that I'm discouraging, I'm all for opening it up. You know that. But from a pure virus standpoint, right? Wouldn't the suites, since they're enclosed, be, quote, riskier than the people sitting out in the bowl of the stadium? Shouldn't it almost be the opposite of the way they've got it?
Well, see, but...
And again, I'm talking just strict...
Yeah, you're not upset about it.
No, not even remotely. Before everybody goes, you're mad. I'm not mad at all. I'm asking a question. It's like I was laughing with Campbell yesterday. My daughter Campbell's a sophomore at the University of Arkansas, and they had their bid day on Saturday. And so all the girls put out these videos, right? Because that's what girls do. They video everything.
Sure.
They put out these videos of them getting their bids. And they all got their bids at the same time. You can hear the woman who's running the program saying, check your email now, check your email now. And so you start hearing the girls, screaming as they find out that they're a Tri-Delta or a KD or a Pi Phi or a Chi O or a AOPi or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're all screaming, and there's 10 of them crammed into one room. And I've been in this dorm. The rooms are small. And they're hugging and stuff, and they're screaming at each other at the top of their lungs. So the virus won't spread in that environment, but it would if you let them go outside and go to their new sorority house together and do something outside. I think it's amazing how we figured out all of the intricacies of this virus that are nothing more than just PR shams.
I was happy with the result, so I refused to think about it. And now I'm trying to play devil's advocate off the sweets in the bowl thing, and it's going to take me a minute. So we're probably going to have to move on and come back because I'm.
Well, and I'm not arguing.
Well, they all know each other, Neal. Like, hey, look, everybody's been in the same house. Hey, you're all hanging out together. It's fine.
And I mean, I'm good with it. Whatever. I don't care. I mean, do whatever you want to do. I mean, don't before anybody thinks that I'm angry at the man who has the tickets in the suite. No.
Because there aren't even rules like, okay, well, half of y'all have to stay out in the outside seats, and half of you stay like in the indoor area.
And how the F you going to enforce that?
Well, you're not, because you're not even. I get the no suite hopping. I understand that one, but yeah.
Who's enforcing that?
Guards, armed guards.
Guards. I mean, silly, man. Once
you're putting Cobra Security in a really tough spot on this one.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna tell you, some of those people do not have the intellectual capacity to pull that off. I mean, they don't, and I'm not trying to be mean, but they don't. Some do, some don't.
Like anything.
Like anything else. Kind of like our field. A few do, most don't.
I'm just. What is Southern? I don't even know. What's Southern Miss's suite situation? Like, what's their setup? Anybody know? Like, are they club areas?
You looked at me. I was like, dude, what?
You don't know about the Rock seating assignments?
Yeah. I was gonna say, I don't know, Chase. Tell me about the backup point guard situation with the Miami Heat.
Oh God, I don't know. Anyway, all right. Just those thoughts: high school football, college football. Well, that's where we're at. So, Lane Kiffin meets with the media today. Vaguely talked about scrimmage. Basically told himself that he said more than he even wanted to say there at one point. They're going to run this quarterback competition out for a while. They're obviously going to give everybody more opportunities than for 1 week, of course. There was a good bit of buzz coming out. And when I say coming out, I mean through anybody who saw it that was willing to talk, because there was no media access, by the way. We should mention that. Well, last time we did a podcast, we said that was a possibility. It sounded like Ole Miss did not approve it. That it was not. It got declined somewhere between all the facility stuff that would be necessary to allow us to do that, was the way I interpreted it. So,
and I'm almost kind of glad, because I have a feeling that the reporting restrictions would have been so intense that it would have been quasi-pointless to be there. It's my gut feeling.
And put everybody in a really weird spot, frankly.
Yeah.
Made it very complicated.
For example.
Yeah.
If you talk to people, and you've talked to people, but to put you in an uncomfortable spot, you've talked to people who are familiar with what happened at the scrimmage on Saturday. And by the way, the word scrimmage, I put it in quotes because they didn't tackle. So you got to be careful calling this a full-blown scrimmage.
They put some pads on and ran plays.
Yeah, it was a thud.
Yeah.
Thud and wrap.
You make contact and you kind of wrap and you stop.
Yeah, so you got to be careful reading too much into one of those scrimmages. By the way, that is the safe way to scrimmage early in preseason, by the way. I think your sourcing has told you that John Rice Plumlee has played some things during the first week of preseason that are not technically quarterbacks. And Kiffin was asked about that today. Parrish Alford of the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal asked that question, and Kiffin said, normally I don't talk about schematics, but I'm going to break my own rule here, and no, he's just playing quarterback. That's the kind of thing that would get awkward from a reporting standpoint. Let's just say, in a hypothetical, that you went out to a scrimmage, and the scrimmage, the rule was you can't report on alignments. Okay. But then there's John Rice Plumlee lined up in the slot or at H-back or something. That is right at that moment the biggest possible story that could come out of the scrimmage, barring a major injury or something. And if you can't report that, then why are you there? This is my reporting thing. And some NFL teams are doing this to reporters now. You can't report position groupings. You can't report depth chart. You can't report those kind of things. Well, then I don't need to be here, because now you're just making me a, quote, fan, end quote, and I don't want to be one. So if I can't do my job, which is to report what I see,
because it's actually a deterrent to doing your work at that point.
Why would you see? So for me, this is where I get in a weird spot as a I guess big J journalist in my mind, even though I'm no longer one of those. I don't guess. If you were to say, hey, I'll give you access to Saturday's scrimmage, but you can't report on alignment, you can't report on position changes, you can't report on injuries, you can't hold up. So what can I report on?
I'm much better off not getting to go and then just going, hey, I'll talk to somebody and figure it out.
And that's when I say, well, then I won't come. And they go, oh, well, you're going to be an ass. No, but you're telling me that I can't report these things. You're telling me I can't do my job. So there's really no reason for me to be there and agree to that set of rules. I'm much better off, like you said, not going and then talking to other people and then having to put together something kind of like what you did today, which was really good, about, hey, here are the things that I've heard that immediately leads to one of those things being, well, you didn't write about Plumlee playing a different position. But that's been the rumbling that's out there, that Plumlee's had to do
He has
some other
not been
stuff.
asked to change positions to this point. Now, he has a lot of versatility, and what I expect, really no matter what, I mean, we'll say he wins the starting. He still thinks he's going to move around some. I think they're going to try to find ways to get him the ball in space, because that's what John Rice Plumlee does better than anything else. I mean, and it's what, I will say this. I'll give away one note from the thing. You can read it at rebelgrove.com. It's on the message board. He didn't run around. They said, hey, throw the ball, go through some progressions, and maybe some design runs that we put in there for your skill set. But John Rice Plumlee can run. When things break down, he's hell. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. He's really good at that. What he has to work on is playing quarterback. And I don't mean that rudely, but that going through progressions, throwing the football, those are the improvement points for John Rice's quarterback. So in practices and scrimmages, for two reasons. One, you're not going to get your quarterback decleated in a scrimmage. And number two, to make him really have to hone in on those things and go through things, hey, don't run around. No, we're going to play quarterback. We're going to stay here, and we're going to throw the football. So that's what he did. So there's it's not like, hey, no, they're taking this out of his game. No, you're working on this specific thing. And then if you go through all those things in a game and then it breaks down, well, yeah, sure, take off, do whatever you can do. I mean, because I got a couple texts, even some different people going, oh, well, they're not letting him run. It's like it's practice. You're practicing. You know what I mean? Like you're not changing who he is as a quarterback. That's not the point here.
Here's the other thing. You and I talked about this morning a little bit when we were just chatting. If you're willing to accept that you don't think this is an Ole Miss team that can win a conference title, is that fair?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
I don't think anybody expects Ole Miss to win the conference title. It would be a monumental upset.
Sure.
If you're doing that and you're Ole Miss, that means that you're building for future years, especially with this year truly being a 0 year. If you're doing that, the one big purpose of this season for you is to put on television for recruits that you're trying to land in this class and in future classes, hey, this is what we're going to try to do. The idea of putting it on television, and then when you talk to the kid later that day or the next day or Monday or Tuesday or whenever you talk to him, you can say, hey, did you notice we're trying to do X? Now, the guy that we've got trying to do X is not as good as you. If we had you, we would have been able to, remember that play 2nd and 7, whatever, and we would be able to do those things. We would be able to execute this much better. And if we get you and we get some more guys like you, the final score of this game Saturday is going to look different in 2 years. At the quarterback position specifically, Ole Miss is recruiting Luke Altmaier right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're recruiting a kid named Arch Manning right now. I don't know that what you want to put on television is a quarterback taking a snap, and this is not picking on Plumlee because Plumlee had a really, really good freshman season.
Yeah.
But a lot of Plumlee's damage was done with his feet. There was a lot of that Rich Rodriguez first reads covered up, go. And he made a lot of plays like that. But I don't know that that's what they want necessarily on film. I think they'd like to be able to show quarterbacks, hey, we're going to run a pro-style offense that gets people ready for the NFL. We're going to run a pro-style offense that keeps defenses off balance. We're going to have balance, and we're going to have big play capability, big strike capability, all of those things. Because to recruit the kind of players that he wants to recruit, to win the way that he wants to win, you got to show them, hey, this is the kind of offense, this is the kind of defense we're going to run, because Kiffin is absolutely planning to recruit kids who are high profile enough that a lot of their thought process is going to be about which program gets me to the league, which program gets me ready for the league. Kids are not flocking to Tuscaloosa because Tuscaloosa is this exotic place. Kids are not flocking to play for Nick Saban because Nick Saban has the most incredible personality in the history of man. People are flocking to Tuscaloosa at a high level as football players because Alabama has done a tremendous job of getting kids ready for the NFL, getting them drafted early in the NFL, and having kids who, when they go to the NFL, are prepared for success. And they're recruiting to that over and over and over. People go, well, they're winning. And I'm telling you, when I say this, I've talked to people who recruit in that program. The getting you ready for the NFL is the primary sales pitch, not the winning.
Yeah, especially when you already have that level of sample size where, hey, at whatever position, take your pick. Here it is. Find the guy that's like you, and here's what he did, and he did, and he did, and he did, and he did. But I mean, you talk about putting it on film. I mean, that argument, even for somebody who was going to go to the NFL no matter what and was the best player in the country, well, he was rated the number one player in the country out of high school, Robert Kimdichie. He came to that Ole Miss Vanderbilt game. He was going to go with Denzel anyway, but he comes to the Ole Miss Vanderbilt game. Vanderbilt wins. They come back. I think it was Jordan Rogers, maybe as the quarterback.
Yeah.
They get the big comeback, and there was a missed tackle on the left edge, and not to make fun, it was Cameron Wickham.
Yep.
Cameron Wickham didn't make the play, and Frieza would walk up Robert and go, we're going to win. You make that play. You do this. And I remember Frieza talking about it. This was the thing that, hey, you saw that, we'd be celebrating right now. We'd have this done. We'd be this. Look around you. You dudes, y'all fix this.
There were two moments that solidified Robert Kimdichie's decision to go to Ole Miss, and both of them came with Ole Miss losing games. One was the one you just referenced, and the other was the Texas A&M game, when Johnny Manziel and I guess Mike Evans just were too much.
Yeah, of course.
Ole Miss won every other matchup but couldn't stop Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
And Denzel was in tears in the locker room. And Robert, that broke his heart. I'm going to help him win. Had I been on that field, he'd be happy right now. That's why I tell people when people fight back, and I'm never arguing with you, but when people fight back and say winning is so important for recruiting, not really. There comes a point where it is.
Having a vision is important for recruiting.
Winning,
knowing who you are and having a vision for it.
Yeah, winning is not the most important thing for Ole Miss this year. It's just not. Putting a product on the field that you're able to explain to high-level prospects, this is what we're trying to do, and if we had you, we would be better at it. And if we get enough of guys like you, we're going to win this thing.
Yeah.
And then they're going to pitch do you want to go someplace where you're just another guy, or do you want to go someplace where you're a big part of what happened?
Yeah.
And for some kids, they're going to go, man, I can't take that chance. I got an offer to go to Alabama. I got an offer to go to LSU. How can I turn that down to come play for you? Because I don't know what's going to happen. And then for other kids, Laquan Treadwell was this way. Carl Lawson was almost this way. I mean, there are kids who are this way. That's compelling. I got a chance to go someplace and be.
Yeah, Quan was the one in that group. That was like that.
I got a chance to go someplace and kind of be a one-name guy, where people don't even remember my whole name. They just know my name. I'm a one-name guy.
Yeah. Laramie just kind of liked the place. So anyway, we'll continue the conversation in a second.
And you know what? Laramie was a little bit like that. Laramie was absolutely motivated to some degree by the thought of being the guy on campus.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. So you're local underwriting. Understand your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE@communitymtg.com.
We're also brought to you by Dead Soxy. It's still pretty hot out. Perfect time to get the Dead Soxy no-shows. 9 new styles to choose from. Find the style that fits your occasion. Use the promo code Rebel Grove at checkout and get 30% off the best dress socks you'll ever put on. Check out the bundle packs currently on sale, and you can use your promo code in addition to these already deeply discounted prices at deadsoxy.com, promo code Rebel Grove, and make your day a Soxy one. We're also brought to you by the Iron Horse Grill. It's located at 320 East Pearl Street in Jackson. Live music 4 times per week. It's the perfect place to enjoy lunch, dinner, or Sunday brunch right there at the Iron Horse Grill. They have the largest outdoor patio in Jackson. They also are home to the Mississippi Music Experience Museum on the second floor of the restaurant, so make it a part of your next trip to Jackson. We'll be taping a Mind on My Money podcast tomorrow. It is brought to you by the people at Pinnacle Trust based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states, advisors in multiple states as well. Founded in 1997, Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity, and decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. Cookie-cutter financial planners put you in a box. Pinnacle Trust builds a box just for you. It's pintrust.com, PINNtrust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fees.
So, anything else stick out to you from today?
A lot of praise for Henry Parrish. That buzz been going around for about a week or so.
Kevin Smith loved him some Henry Parrish before he even got the job here. When that one got done, he's been pretty excited about it every day since.
Yeah, and Lane Kiffin had pretty strong praise for him.
I expect 2 back sets. They've got a lot of running backs. They've got Ely. They've got him. They've got Snoop. They've got guys. There's good chance there of multiple backs in the backfield.
He had a lot of praise for Matt Corral. We talked a lot about Plumlee just then. Had a lot of praise for Matt Corral. Matt Corral's got a bunch of arm talent. People forget Matt Corral was a redshirt freshman last year. Hadn't played much and got hurt early. It was a weird year for Matt Corral. He talked about being motivated, knowing he has to work harder, all of those things. I'm interested in that. Trying to think what else. A little concerned about defense in general.
They got a lot of quarantine issues going around.
Defensive backs, they've got injuries and apparently some COVID-related stuff in the secondary.
Thin room right now.
Yeah, really thin. Kedron Smith said it's really thin.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he didn't leave a lot to the imagination. I don't know details. Yeah, I know A.J. Finley's out. I don't know whether that's injury or COVID. Look, schools are not going to release COVID information to you unless the kids tell them to do it. So, I don't know.
And frankly, it's even a weird spot a little bit on what to report there. If there's no serious illness, I'm in a weird mix there. Sometimes even what to say. I don't know, because we're still in camp. Because you could be out with you could be out with a test, you could be out with a quarantine. There's lots of different things that could be going on here too.
33 days before the first game.
Yeah, there's time.
These are really healthy young people. I mean, I don't want to get on my COVID soapbox or anything, but these are healthy young people. 33 days left before a game. I don't know that them getting it today is the worst thing in the world, frankly. I mean, you'd rather them not get it, but you'd rather them get it now than get it 4 weeks from now.
If they're going to get it, you'd rather get it now, yes. Kiffin did say he's heard nothing on Leonard or Otis Reese to this point.
Yes.
He said Bullock's hurt, a little banged up. I think was the term used. He likes Jonathan Mingo. That's not surprising. I kind of thought he probably liked Jonathan Mingo well enough. So, it was. It's one of the few times I wrote this morning. It's not linebackers we're talking about. It's defensive line, but the defensive line affects the linebackers to such a degree in any defense as far as keeping them free to roam around that. If you've got a defensive line issue, you have a defense issue because you're not getting pass rush. You're having to bring more guys to get pass rush. They're not, like I said, they're not keeping linemen off the linebackers. I mean, defensive line kind of sets this thing one way or the other, no matter what you got going on with the defense, and it's going to be a bit of a struggle.
I think it's unrealistic to think this is ever going to be a good defensive line.
No, I mean,
I think it's realistic to think this could be a pretty good linebacker core.
yeah.
They've got more depth there than I think they thought they
I
had.
think they're pretty good at corner. They'll be okay at corner.
I think they have a chance to be okay at corner. I think safety is a potential problem. Defensive line's a real potential problem. You talked about it on the offensive line.
I think they got 7 they like over there.
They're okay as long as they stay healthy. They're an injury away from panic, 2 injuries away from like walking around with holding beads and stuff. I mean, they're a couple. There
are a couple dudes that just can't get hurt.
Yeah, they're three injuries away from snakes and Jobu's rum and stuff.
Like
I mean, it gets weird quick.
The bubble wrap or whatever it was in Little Giants, might want to put Ben Brown in that because I don't know what you do. You start shuffling to a point that would be a huge problem.
Oh, well, I mean, I do think as they get, we're not quite there, but you're getting to the point of in about 2 weeks, to the point of the preseason where if you're Lane Kiffin and you're the offensive line, the offensive staff, you probably start to take guys like Ben Brown and Nick Broker and say, hey, I know in an ideal world we'd get them a little sharper than this, but we don't live in an ideal world. We live in this world, and we need to make sure we get them to Saturday.
Pretty good praise for Brown and Royce Newman at the new positions to this point. Not really a surprise, but just passing along. So. What are you watching, Bucks, Magic?
Yeah, Bucks, Magic. Bucks are
this whole playoff game thing in the middle of the day
7.
is kind of it's weirding me out a little bit.
But you like the NCAA tournament when they play in the middle of the day.
Well, I'm used to that. I'm not used to this.
I know.
Don't like
there's
change.
there's a lot to that. You don't like change.
I'm good. Give me my NBA tipping off at 8:30 when I'll watch like a quarter and ignore it. I mean, that's what I do.
Oh, I figured we were going to talk a lot of NBA today.
You
We're
did?
not? Oh, I'm shocked.
Did you read the story I sent you?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Ratings all over the place for the NBA.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little bit of a not as bad as you think it is, and certainly not as good as they wanted it to be, and a little bit in
better.
between. It could be a lot better.
Yeah. So I don't know.
It's interesting. What was interesting about it is we're all so new. It kind of reminded me of a lot of the 2016 stuff right after the election, where a lot of the pollsters said, "Yeah, we're having to learn a new way to do what we do," and they're having to learn a new way to figure out what is and isn't working from a rating standpoint because so many people have cut the cord, and there was this expectation. This isn't about the NBA. This is about television in general. There was this expectation that during COVID that people would just start watching lots and lots of television, and that is not what's happened. In fact, they've watched less television.
And look, they have, and I think some of it is just getting out of the routine a little bit. Things change. You find other ways to appeal to yourself other than the things you really care about, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think college football ratings in markets will be great.
Yes.
It's the all day out of market. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know.
That's a good question. NBA, I mean, I'm a pretty decent example here because I have no interest really. I mean, I say I'm a Mavericks fan because I've kind of followed them, but I don't even get me started.
Okay.
Not really. I know scores. I might watch a minute. I didn't know this game was happening today. I kind of forgot there were even games during the weekday. Like, I have no sense of it whatsoever. If it were a primetime night thing, it might be what I turn on at 8 o'clock when I'm just kind of sitting there decompressing from the day and hanging out.
I understand.
Not right now. I'm just not going to do it at this point.
Yeah, I want to see what the NBA ratings look like in the second round of the playoffs because their games won't be played this early in the day. The games will be better.
Because there's fewer games you to play.
Fewer games, better players. I am also interested to see what the ratings were. There were 3 NBA games over the weekend that were basically primetime games that were all terrific basketball games. I mean, fantastic basketball games. No matter what you think about all the social justice stuff or whatever, they were ripe with storylines. The games lived up to the billing. Thunder Rockets Game 3 was a phenomenal game. Mavericks Clippers Game 4 yesterday was one of the best NBA playoff games I've ever watched. And the Nuggets Jazz Game 4 last night didn't get the attention because people were still probably just buzzing about Luka Doncic and that game. But Donovan Mitchell was just absolutely fantastic as the Jazz went up 3-1 in a really close game. I'm curious to see what those ratings look like, because if those ratings are dipping, at some point you can't spin it anymore. And I'm not doing the Clay Travis stuff. I love the NBA, man. I watch it. I like it. It's fun. I didn't get worked up about Montrezl Harrell and Luka, because I saw as it was transpiring and it was getting chippy, and frankly, it reminded me of some old school NBA.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And it was a Friday night, and I'd had a couple of glasses, and I told Carson, I said, this is like a Pistons game in the old days. This game, these teams starting to not like each other. They've been around each other a while. It's getting a little chippy, and so it was all good.
It would be, and I think from a size standpoint or athleticism, however you want to put it, I think I know the result, but maybe more than any sport, from an actual competitiveness level, if there was like this quantum leap thing to go, okay, Clippers from today versus 90 Pistons, like, just take it. Y'all are both taking the court. You don't realize the style they're about to try to play. They don't get the style you're about to play. Holy hell! Like, you got a deal here when one's trying to spread out and isolate and do all this, and we're just going to beat the hell out of you.
Yeah, because
48 minutes.
When the Clippers, you add Patrick Beverley to the mix with them, they're the bad boys.
Yeah,
I mean, Kawhi plays that way. That's Harrell's game. Paul George is known for his defense. Although he's been awful in this series, but he's known for his defense. It's kind of reminded me of
baseball.
Pistons.
Could do it. Football, we've gotten so much bigger. Size wouldn't go to even 20 years ago. Size would cancel out so many things. But I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, the Mavs thing was a podcast bit probably 3 years ago, something like that. I was trying to find an NBA team to get someone interested.
I remember that.
I didn't want to be a Grizzlies fan, and I didn't want to jump on some crazy bandwagon where they were winning. So
you want to become a Warriors fan?
Yeah, like I wasn't doing that. I wasn't going to be, at the time, I guess maybe a Heat fan, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, what are we doing? And I went with Mavericks for whatever reason. I don't even remember why, but we tried that for a little while. And it's kind of like the Blackhawks thing. I've stayed in it enough. I can tell you very basic information, but that's about it.
I'll let you in on a little secret.
It's a good time to get in if I'm getting in, though, isn't it?
The Mavericks have this 21-year-old kid that is he's a bad man. Woo!
You think he has a chance to be the face of the league?
Yeah, like soon. Look, this is going to sound hyperbolic, and people are going to say I'm crazy, but I'm willing to say this on the air. I think Luka is a better Magic Johnson.
Well, that's one way to put it.
He's a better Magic Johnson. 21. On a bum ankle with the second best player out of the game. In a game where if they lose, they're done. You're not coming back from 3-1 in the series.
Got pissed off and just went off.
43 points, triple-double. I don't know, 18 rebounds, 17 rebounds.
13, something like that.
Something like that. Efficient. Hurt. I mean, he rolled that ankle over Friday.
Yeah, did you see his schedule over like that 36 hours or whatever it was?
Yeah.
Just x-rays, treatment, pull workout, treatment, practice. I mean, it was just nonstop from game to game.
Yeah. I when he rolled it on Friday night, I thought, he's not playing Sunday, and they're done. They're done. And instead, he comes back out. No way he's even close to 100%, and he does what he does. I know people don't want to hear NBA talk, but he was magnificent. It was really, really good, and then Donovan Mitchell's been really, really good, and Giannis it's a big moment for him and the Bucks. That's what's funny about I'll stop with this, I promise. It's what's interesting about the NBA is if they could get out of their own way a little bit right now, in some ways the basketball's never been better. So many great players. Kawhi Leonard's a great player. Lou Williams yesterday for the Clippers was just fantastic. You know, the other night, Chris Paul and James Harden and their history and all of that stuff, that's compelling theater. We got caught up about the bitch-ass white boy. Mm-hmm. Seth Curry looked right at Paul George and called him a bitch-ass. And then you find out the reason those two people just don't like each other is freaking great drama. It's like a soap opera. Seth Curry's wife got cheated on by Paul George, who cheated on the woman who is now Seth Curry's wife. Yeah.
Hold on. Back up.
So Paul George used to date the woman who is now Seth Curry's wife.
Okay.
He cheated on her with a stripper in Atlanta. Their relationship fell apart, and she's now married to Seth Curry, who plays for the Mavericks.
Yeah.
The coach, Seth Curry, is married to Doc Rivers' daughter. Doc Rivers is the coach of the Clippers. Paul George plays for the Clippers. That's great drama.
I had no idea.
And so
that's...
And while I understand why the national media was obsessed with, not most of it, a few national media were obsessed with the bitch-ass white boy comment on Friday night, I was a little more drawn in by Seth Curry getting up in Paul George's grill yesterday because that's personal.
Yeah, that's a little different.
I mean,
that's not.
Montrezl Harrell was pissed off, and he absolutely made a comment that was racist. I mean, when you say white, when you call him out as a white person and make that a specific thing, then yes, it was racially motivated. But more than anything, it was just two dudes who don't, in the heat of the moment, they were kind of going at each other. Montrezl Harrell, I suspect, doesn't have anything personally against Luka Doncic or vice versa. And Luka plays emotionally.
Yeah, sure.
He talks a lot. Yeah, he's a trash talker. He is Larry Bird. If you insist on doing the white guy comparison, it's Bird. To me, his game's more like Magic's than Bird's was, but regardless. You ever notice that? You can't compare a white player to a black player. If it's a white basketball player, you have to compare him to other white basketball players, even if the comp happens to be a black player. Think about it. We all do it. Everyone does it. I'm not. It's not just black people that do it. White people do it too. I'm telling you, Luka's game is more like Magic's than it is Bird's.
So they both use that same insult. Is that a new thing? I don't know that I've ever uttered that one.
Well, I've never played in the NBA,
okay.
But watching NBA, it's pretty clear there's a lot of talking that goes on. These are high-level basketball players, and they talk stuff. You know, if people have gone off about it, the only thing that is true is given the current climate with the names on the back of the jerseys and the stuff on the Black Lives Matter on the floor and all of that stuff, given the climate, I think you have to acknowledge, and like Doc Rivers did, it's just something that really can't happen given the current climate. Is Montrezl Harrell a racist? Are we really going to call someone a racist because of one thing that is said late in the first quarter of an NBA playoff game? I'm not willing to do that.
No.
But if you were to reverse the roles and Luka Doncic had said that to Montrezl Harrell and replaced the word white with black and changed nothing else, are people as quick to forgive him? Are people as quick to just go, oh, come on, heat of the moment? Are people so quick to go, hey, he apologized?
No, and here's what's so sad about that is that by the media, and I'm going to say the media because that's what generates most of this. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
The NBA too. I mean, obviously the league too, not doing anything or whatever. Because look, had the league decided to fine him, I'm good with it. I get it. I don't think a suspension is warranted.
Yeah,
I'm fine with a fine.
They hid behind the we don't punish based on things that are said on the floor. And for the most part, they don't. I mean, really, the only major fine that was ever levied was when Kobe Bryant called an official the F word.
Okay.
3 letters. It's a gay slur.
I forgot that.
He called a referee.
Okay.
And
every time.
Yeah, and he got fined pretty heavily, and I think looking back on it, Kobe felt sick about it and was very active about apologizing and all of those things. But he was fined, absolutely fined. Now, this was not the same thing.
That's my point.
Yeah.
What happened, and it's why I wish everybody would take a step back and look at context as we're talking about. Look at why things happen. That there can be certain things that aren't all race-baited through a situation in any direction. But point being, you allowed it to have conflict resolution. Nobody freaked out, so Harold calls him over there. They have a little bit of a moment. Hey, we were whatever. He used it as fuel. He buries the dagger. You know what I mean? Like when you step back and let the humans just kind of figure it out that we're actually in the situation, it actually was a very teachable moment. Hey, I'm going to apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
And if you're Doc Rivers today, you're before Game 5, you're telling him, don't say anything to him. He feeds off that. You don't intimidate him.
You see athletes like that all the time.
Him.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Don't give him something. He's Brooks Koepka in golf, looking for something. Looking. Shut up. Don't give him anything. Max
Scherzer. Yeah. Don't look out at him ever.
Pomeranz was like that.
Yeah. Don't. No. The opposing team should always about a guy like that. Oh yeah, he's terrific. We're going to be really fortunate if we're able to hit him
because he'll search that day.
He's a great player. He's just
he
really
goes to the soup kitchen on Tuesdays. He's fantastic.
Yeah, we're going to do the best we can. I mean, it's our job to try to hit him, but quite honestly, it's going to be really, really hard.
Yeah. Shut up.
Now, do you say that in the privacy of your own locker room to your guys? Of course not. But that's what you say in the public. I mean, Doc Rivers had a funny quote the other day. He goes, no, I'm not going to say anything to him. He's better than I ever could dream of being. I mean, Doc was pretty good. Doc was a pretty good player now. And, different guys, you can get in different guys' heads. You're not getting in his head. You're not getting in Jimmy Butler's head. You're not, maybe you can get in Joel Embiid's head a little bit, but you're not getting in certain guys' heads. You
at your own detriment.
You can get in Kevin Durant's head.
Yeah.
You can get in Russell Westbrook's head and get him to play harder than he needs to play.
Out of control.
But so far, what we've seen with Luka Doncic is no.
Yeah.
That is the fuel he is searching for to turn his 33 points into 43 points and to turn a 5-point loss into a dramatic win and
suddenly put you in trouble.
And take a team like the Clippers, who are absolutely good enough to win the NBA title, now 2 wins away from a first-round bounce, 2 losses away from a first-round bounce.
Now you got to beat him twice.
Now you've got to beat Luka twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why you don't poke the bear.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Whitlock that wrote it? The Clippers poked the bear, and the bear
he mauled the whole
campsite.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs and G&M Pharmacy in Oxford. Immune Support Med Packs. Their pharmacy delivered combinations of vitamins and supplements designed to boost your immune system and lung health. Includes 30-day supply of vitamin C, zinc, NAC, probiotic, and vitamin D3, which will all work together to boost your immune system. Again, lung health, GI regulation, and immune regulation. Pharmacists believe it's the best combination of OTC supplements to prepare your body for dangerous viruses. You can find out more or stop by. You can give them a call at 662-236-2222.
The folks over at Blue Delta Jeans are excited to announce that the field for the 2nd annual Delta Cup Golf Tournament at Mossy Oak Golf Club on Friday, October the 16th, has officially been filled. And due to popular demand, they've added a second field for Sunday, October the 18th. The second field offers the same great perks as Friday, all the cart and green fees, food and drink on the course, long distance competitions, closest to the pin competitions, and a brand new pair of Blue Delta jeans for every golfer. As of when Blake sent this to me, which has been about a week, they had 5 remaining spots. So if you're interested and you still have time, it's Tyler at BlueDeltaJeans.com. Tyler at BlueDeltaJeans.com for more information to get your team signed up. We're also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're thinking about a trip over the holidays, you want to take advantage of some deals. I've been telling you, John just got back from the Keys. Rooms that normally go for like $1,100 a night, we're going for less than $300 a night. Those are deals that are not going to last forever. So if you're looking to do something this fall, looking to do something over the holidays, or if you're just looking to take advantage of some deals and book a big-time trip for next summer, get in touch with John. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allow him to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits simply not available to other travelers. What you do is you give him a call, you give him some parameters, you give him a budget, and let him give you options that you're not going to find on your own. 901-494-3387, or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel. on the podcast. And we're brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan is the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com.
You and I were talking about it this morning, and there's no doubt that Ole Miss right now having a DB room that's beaten up by whatever it is. That they've got guys out right now. There's going to be positive tests the way the SEC is testing throughout the season.
Yep.
This thing really all the way up and down the thing. I mean, the difference for Ole Miss 3-7, 5-5, whatever numbers you want to throw out there,
Sure.
potentially for Alabama, Florida, and Georgia for just winning the league or whatever they do from whatever. It feels like for some teams you're going to get the COVID game where you get a win, the COVID game where you get a loss, and maybe it all averages out. There's going to be 1, 2, 3 teams, though, that this is going to completely probably impact the season in a very significant way based off when that happens, who they're playing, or even how long it lasts. I mean, this absolutely could, and I get winning is not necessarily important, but it could definitely change the direction of where this league goes this season.
Yeah, I think it's going to. I mean, given what we see, they're going to test 3 times. It's a lot of testing. The one thing that I'm curious about, because I thought one of the biggest stories of the weekend kind of got overshadowed by all the Montrezl Harrell stuff and all that, was the NFL story. Did you see this?
The negative test?
77 positive tests all over the league, where the league was like, whoa, we've got a problem. And so they retest all the tests, and they're all negative. What happens if, like, and these rapid tests are not known for being super duper reliable.
Incredibly unreliable.
And so what happens if on Friday you do the rapid test and you get 20 positives? Do you have time to scramble and do that? I know you probably would figure it out, but that's the one thing I'm really curious about.
Money.
Yeah.
There's a budget to this.
You know, but there's no doubt in my mind, Chase, that at some point one team, Kentucky or Arkansas or LSU or Ole Miss or whoever, they're going to have a, quote, outbreak close to a game, and the league might say, hey, let's march on. Let's get our TV money. Where, the teams might want to, hey, let's push this thing back to December the 12th. And the league might just go, nope, let's keep rolling. We're good. Play. Doesn't really matter, Kentucky, if you beat Tennessee or not this year. Kentucky might say it matters to us, and the league's going to say, you want the check or not?
That's not ripe for issues at all when they tell one team, hey, I don't know, probably that's not enough. Another team, well, that's probably the standard. I probably need that written down. Let's just be honest.
A little bit of it. It's one of the things that I've been asked a few times. What is the threshold for, hey, that's too many? And I don't know the answer. Major League Baseball has stopped series because of one positive. Like the Mets had a positive or two, and they shut down their series over the weekend. Now they're resuming, I think, tomorrow. But, those teams have the benefit of being able to schedule doubleheaders and make up games. Like the Cardinals have made up a lot of the games they missed. The Marlins have made up almost all of the games they missed. Can't do that in football. Can't schedule a doubleheader. I mean, I guess you could. Feels like that would.
Feels excessive.
Feels like that would get frowned upon.
Yeah. Well, we have Kentucky at noon. We got Vandy at 7.
Yeah.
We'll do it that way.
Hey, we're going to play Kentucky at noon. Wrap the thing up around 3:30.
Get them a mic to eat.
Yeah, guys, come back around 5:36, and we'll start getting ready for the Vols.
I mean, it's just Vanderbilt. Really need to. I mean,
yeah.
We need to wait a week. I kind of hate it's not a normal season because Vanderbilt, I think, would historically suck.
Yeah. Well, again, if I'm Arkansas, I'm really complaining. How did we not get Vanderbilt? How does that happen? Right? I mean, you're throwing.
I get why the call was heated.
Yeah.
Completely.
Well, I mean, in all seriousness, I mean, at some point you're like, wait a minute.
I mean, I know we laughed at the SEC short that week, but seriously, like, come on. They got Florida and Georgia.
Yeah,
they got Florida and Georgia.
Their deal has to be, okay, get your licks in now because you owe us one. You owe us 2.
Yeah, there's no way they used any sort of formula whatsoever to get to that. They just plugged teams in on guys.
Well, they kind of admitted there was no formula, and that's when the call got heated.
Yeah. Yeah. Who'd Bama get? Kentucky. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks. At least Georgia and Alabama play each other this year.
Yeah, that's
At
true.
least they play each other.
Yeah.
That's something.
So someone has to lose.
Florida's.
The league's still trying to figure out how can both of those teams win that day. I'm kidding. I actually give some credit where it's due. I don't know that we've given enough credit so far to the SEC, to Greg Sankey, for how they've handled this.
Oh.
I told you the heat on the league to cancel is unlike anything that I think most of us can imagine. It is daily. It is a barrage.
And
it's cumulative. It stacks and it gets bigger, and the fire gets hotter. A lot of heat. Someone in the thread, Corey, says, "What's the staff management performance under Luke or Freeze through this?" I don't know how Freeze is handling it. I think Matt Luke would have
handled responsibly.
I think he would have. I think he would have handled it responsibly, and I think Kiffin appears to have done a really good job.
All the SEC coaches, for the most part, have. I can't think of many issues anymore.
Well, and again, that's where I'm going to give credit to the league here.
Yeah.
The league very early on, back before everybody showed up on June the 8th, told these coaches, "Hey, this has got to be treated seriously. This is tenuous. This could go wrong fast. There's not a lot of margin for error." The only thing that's happened, and this isn't the league, it's the league institutions above the athletics level. These press conferences that like Alabama had one today, yelling they shutting down the bars. They're yelling at the kids for irresponsible behavior. Come on. Shut up.
It's not really critical, just my opinion. I told you this morning, if I'm Ole Miss, I stopped putting players in masks for the social media stuff.
I do too.
I think it puts them in a really bad spot. Frankly, it doesn't. I don't think you're changing students' minds either way because of I just don't think that's kind of necessarily how that works, especially in something that is very clearly a promotional.
Yes.
Two, frankly, I think most of the students are doing that. Today was the first day of class. I think everything's getting handled pretty well as it can. I think they're trying to do the right thing. I think
Campbell sent us a picture. She had her mask on and her slippers on, and she was getting ready to log into her first class. They're in the
online.
All her classes are virtual.
Oh, they really?
None of them are online where they take them at your leisure. They're all certain
hybrids.
They're all certain times.
Or remote. Is that the way they call it?
They're calling theirs virtual, and then remote is where you just take it
really?
on your own schedule. Hell, I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever.
I don't know.
It's not safe. It's not safe to congregate in a classroom setting, but it is safe for football teams to congregate and practice. Science. I love to follow the science. I'm like, dude, I'm trying. The science just gets kind of confusing.
Sorry. Okay.
They couldn't all go to the sorority house, but they could go 40 at a time.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, because the virus counts to 40.
Capacity? Is that what they were claiming?
Yeah. The virus counts to 40, and once it gets past 40, it goes, okay, infections, here we go. It's smart like that.
What's Saturday Night Live been doing every week? I don't even know. Do you?
I would suspect they've just avoided it.
You do, really?
Yeah, because it's
too political.
Yeah, this thing's gotten really political.
I don't know. I've had parts of my life where I've been pretty into Saturday Night Live, but I haven't seen a skit in a long time. It's not at that point currently. Just wondering.
Well, like in Tuscaloosa, they have determined scientifically that it's not safe to go to a bar, but it is safe to go to a restaurant. It's not safe to have It's not safe to go up to the bar and have a drink, but it is safe to walk into the same exact facility and just go down to a table and have a drink. Because the virus...
They're trying to kill mingling.
Yes.
That's what I hate about this.
But when people sit at a table, typically, now, and sometimes you can have a really bad date where no one says anything, and you just eat as fast as you can and get the hell out of there because it's obvious this is going nowhere and you hate one another. Or a group of couples will sit down at a table and they all hate each other. I guess conceivably that happens, but usually when
you sit on your phone now though. You sit at the same table, but you're just on your phone.
But usually when people sit at a table, they end up having a conversation. And I have found that when I have a conversation, I use my mouth. You appear to be using your mouth today in the conversation.
I'm tempting.
So I just don't. It's all. I don't know. I need to shut up.
What's Fayetteville's situation?
I think it's similar to here.
Is it?
Yeah. They have not done as. I don't think they've been quite as draconian as Mississippi has been about some of it. But everybody's wearing a mask and all that stuff. I mean, Campbell's taking 15 hours and all of it's online or virtual or whatever the hell you call it. So
ESPN doing tons of Kobe stuff. Is that birthday from the weekend?
His birthday was yesterday.
Okay.
He would have been 42.
42.
Vanessa Bryant's Instagram post was pretty heartbreaking.
Really?
Yeah. Not only did she lose a husband, but she lost a daughter.
We've said this multiple times, but that feels like 8 years ago right now.
Yeah.
That day when we were sitting in here the day after it happened.
Yeah.
Talking about wherever the golf tournament was the day before, Riviera or Torrey Pines. And
it was January of this year.
Just doesn't even. 2020's taking a bit.
It's
taking a minute.
It's been a moment.
So you had yours back in school for the first day today? Or no?
The way Oxford did it was the odd years, like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11 went today, and then the even years go tomorrow, and so Carson and Caroline both go tomorrow.
Okay.
And then they start, hopefully, fully
daily after
on
that.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay.
There's quite a bit of panic in Oxford about the kids going back to school. A lot of nervousness.
I was talking to somebody today. Just enjoy it while it lasts. Just who knows what'll happen? Who knows how long anything goes on? Just ride it out.
Yeah.
The Magic trying to make this a series after 3. Only a 3-point Bucks lead at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah. Oh, the Magic have really played well.
Yeah.
The Bucks have not.
No, it's been sloppy.
And this feels like it's bringing back some memories of a certain Western Conference team that had a superstar approaching the end of his contract, and they couldn't quite get over the hump. I'm starting to get that same feeling with the Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like if he can't win a title where he just goes, you know what? Nah, I'm moving on. The rumor in NBA circles, by the way, is that Giannis Antetokounmpo is quite enamored with the idea of playing with one Luka Doncic. And you want to talk about super teams. You put those two cats together, you and I could play in the backcourt, and I'm not sure it would matter.
Roll the ball and get out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, the coach would be like, hey, you see that corner over there? Just stand in it.
I mean, I don't know. It's interesting.
Will Burns,
yeah,
I'm going to take his word for it here. He's quoting
Adam Schefter.
Adam Schefter. NFL test results for August the 12th through August the 20th. The NFL administered 23,260 tests to players, 35,137 tests administered to personnel, 0 positive tests among players, and 6 new confirmed positives among other personnel. So 6 out of 58,500.
Yeah, 58 and change. That percentage is pretty good.
Feels like a pretty small number.
That percentage is good.
Who am I to?
For August 12th to August 20th. Well, the NFL is absolutely the catalyst to a lot happening. So,
and they appear to be doing well.
and kind of just moving along.
Just
Okay.
Staying quiet.
Yeah. It has been a quiet so far.
There's no preseason games.
Oh, that's true. We see nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be a
Normally,
little sloppy.
normally they would have played some preseason games.
I swear to God, nobody criticized the product. Nobody criticized the product. Don't criticize the product. Who cares what it looks like?
I've never cared less.
I'd like to win the thing, but otherwise, yeah.
So what's interesting is the baseball games without fans have become monotonous.
You think so?
I like baseball a lot.
It doesn't bother me.
And I've catch myself watching less and less baseball by the day. I saw the was it San Diego or Oakland, wherever the teddy bear got hit in the head, and the next day they had the bear wrapped up, and it was funny.
I'm 100% as entertained otherwise.
Really?
I have no difference. None.
I don't know what it is.
I'm just watching the on field. I don't care. It does it. I'm used to the mask. Nothing bothers me whatsoever.
No, the masks don't bother me.
I have not heard of anything Ole Miss is doing special with uniforms. I mean, we saw the potential powder blue thing. I don't know. We'll see. I have no idea.
No, I hadn't.
They'll do their best to keep that quiet. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, not something that.
Have they rescheduled the Eli Manning retirement thing since that?
Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. Do you still do it even with the small fan thing?
If
or do
I'm
you wait?
them, I'd probably rather wait a year. Maybe do it on a day where you have Arch Manning taking a visit.
You do spring game and baseball series in the spring?
No, I don't want to do it. I don't
want
to do it on a football day.
Okay.
He deserves a football day.
Yeah, you can't get jersey year of. It's usually like a year, 18 months, 2 years, something like that.
It's about 2 years out to do something.
To do new things. Yeah, that's true. So I don't know. I have no idea what they're doing from a uniform standpoint. Hopefully putting them on 10 times.
Well, and I just have a suspicion, and I base this on nothing other than a few tweets, and I have a suspicion that Kiffin would love to jump to Air Jordan.
He would definitely like to jump
and
to
so
Air
I
Jordan.
just kind of wonder how far down the Nike road you go if that's what you're sort of hoping to switch to.
You don't think that was completely without purpose?
Oh, hell no. Do you?
No. I don't know. Look, the likelihood, I have no clue.
Yeah.
I don't know how that stuff works.
He'd like to do that.
Well, there aren't many of them.
No.
It's a pretty small list.
And God, you hate to do this to this kid. I really do.
Arch.
But if you land him, given the pub that he is starting to get, if you're one of those, he came out with his first 8 today.
Oh, did he?
He did.
Oh, I didn't see this.
It was, I'll finish my thought, then I'll
Sure.
see if I can recall his list. You wouldn't mind having him in your uniform. Be a lot of publicity on that. I think his list was it was ULM. No, actually, it was Ole Miss, Texas, North Carolina, Duke, Georgia, Alabama, LSU, and Tennessee.
Okay.
His 8.
I would have gotten most of those. Could have pegged that. He is starting to get a lot of comparisons to a certain uncle.
Yeah.
Peyton. Yeah. That's the name you hear over and over and over and over.
I've heard it a lot, and
I didn't read Chicks today. I'm sorry, Georgia.
I don't think he's going to end up at Duke. That's a nod to David Cutcliffe.
Yeah, sure.
That family has every reason in the world to really admire and like David Cutcliffe. I don't think he ends up at Duke, though.
I don't think he ends up at Tennessee.
Be surprised.
Yeah. You're not as far down as Duke, but...
Yeah, now, of that list, if you said, we'll do the surprise thing, would I be surprised at Tennessee? Yes. Would I be surprised at Duke? Yes. Would I be surprised at Alabama? Yes.
I think it's Ole Miss, LSU, and Texas.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Those are the three that I think are very real.
Georgia would surprise me. Ole Miss would not. LSU, based on what I've heard, would absolutely not.
And Texas would not.
And Texas would not.
No.
And who was the other one? North Carolina? Nah, it's not happening.
Phil Longo and Arch Manning.
I just think,
yeah,
that's just not something that I see happening.
Yeah, I think it's one of those three. I mean, we're a couple years out, obviously, but we'll probably talk about him some as the days pass at some point.
You think we'll do a few Arch Manning shows?
I mean,
I'll feel super guilty about it, but I do plan to cash in.
Ole Miss could sign the number 2 quarterback in whatever class, like the dude that's ranked like 13 nationally, and everybody's pissed off.
Yeah, yeah. I said it.
That poor dude's like, hey, I'm
the way the timing works, you absolutely have to get him.
You're saying have to.
Yeah, I don't think you recover from it if you don't.
Podcast headline today: Ole Miss has to get Arch Manning.
Would you disagree?
No, you got to sign him.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to sign him.
Welcome into my boat. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you don't get him, they're not firing the coaches or whatnot. But if you don't get him, that becomes this storyline that is constant. And if you end up getting some mediocre quarterback and he ends up being Peyton Manning redux, life's not going to be fun.
If Phil Longo signs Arch Manning, I'm just quitting that day for like at least 2 weeks. Just y'all have it. I don't know how a vacation works, but taking it, peace. I don't know.
Not happening.
I'm out. It's all good.
No way. No chance. I'm not convinced.
I'd definitely get a DM about that one.
Yes, you would. I always found it funny that you got those DMs and I didn't.
I did.
Yeah. He was trying to pull you in. I guess he knew I wasn't lurable. Even LSU would surprise me a little bit.
I would put LSU ahead of Texas.
Would you?
Yeah. I have very few inner workings into his recruitment, but
I have a suspicion that he is Ole Miss's to lose, but that he is losable.
Well, you have to be in good shape. You've got to present the situation that allows it to happen.
Kind of
my opinion.
Full circle a little bit on the conversation. You probably don't need to be running an offense on television this year that looks like you're running some sort of the veer.
Going back in history a little bit.
Going back in history when Billy Brewer, during Peyton Manning's, it's Campbell right there.
Yeah, you're fine.
Going back in history a little bit when Peyton Manning was a high school senior and Ole Miss decided to run the veer option with Larry Keck, I think was his name, was the offensive coordinator, and Lawrence Adams was the quarterback.
That has not gone down into lore, has it?
Didn't make a lot of sense when you think about it.
There's a lot of stuff going on there that, but again, you got to present the situation. That's the deal. So, anyway, I don't know. Afternoon again tomorrow. Is that the plan?
Yeah, probably so. What do you think?
Yeah,
about this time, I'd guess.
You can lock in with that. We should have some stuff going on.
Real quick, I want to tell you this podcast has been brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB is home to Kasasa. It's the absolute best cash checking account. With Kasasa, customers get 2.5% interest on the balances up to $50,000, and ATM fees are refunded nationwide. Live Oxford, bankoxford.com, or call 662-234-6668. We're also brought to you by Bluff City Advisory Group, dedicated to building the future you desire. Founded in Memphis in 2019, their team is comprised of established and seasoned financial experts who came together to serve individuals and families of their beloved hometown. You can get in touch with them at 901-365-3447 or email them at Ben, at bluffcityadvisory.com. And we're brought to you by the law firm of Bain, Moss, and Bowen. Located in historic downtown Corinth, Mississippi, their firm practices a wider range of law from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. Bain, Moss, and Bowen is the only firm in Mississippi that's made up of a sitting state legislator, former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit judge. Their experience is unmatched, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth, or by calling them at 662-287-1620.
So another podcast tomorrow. Again, stuff at rebelgrove.com, including what all Kiffin talked about today, and more recruiting and whatnot. So we appreciate you in the stream. Be back again tomorrow, and we will talk to you then.